Hello, everybody. It's Friday. That means it's time for another topic of the week. So, first things first, normal preamble. Last week's topic on AOS releases in the summer of 40k. There was a lot of good suggestions on sort of single army battle tomes. There was a lot of support for a Nurgle tome to go because you wouldn't really need to add anything and it would go along well with the Death Guard. Seems fairly obvious. I obviously have no interest in it, but I think it does make sense. That would make a lot of Nurgle players very happy. And there's probably a lot of cross appeal there too. Uh, Obviously, there was also a lot of references to death. I think that everybody agrees there's probably some good action you could do with death with single battle tomes. There was a lot of that discussed, and there was a few shout outs for the devoted, but the devoted of Sigmar, that's to say. But I'm against that. I'm firmly against it because I think that I want to see them have a big release somehow. I don't know what that looks like, but I still say it's a travesty to have the only faction with Sigmar in the name, the same as the game, and not have it be a robust full force. I'm just saying, balls in your court. GW, you're the ones that decided to name it the Devoted of Sigmar, so there you go. Okay, so that being said, time will tell. Obviously, we unexpectedly now this weekend are getting a repack of and a special war scroll for Corgus Call and Vanda, so that'll be cool. We did a topic a long time ago about special characters in Age of Sigmar and how where are we going to keep seeing them. I think they've sort of pivoted on that, and we're back into a realm where we're going to see some unique special characters start coming back. Like we had Burlock Gunnarsson or whatever his name was in the KO. Like the Overlords launched with a named special character, and now Vandus and Corgus are actually getting. I mean, they've been around in the story forever, but they're actually getting their own unique war scrolls, which is good. And that's just it. I don't know if I necessarily always need a special model, but I like to have the rules for like an optional guy. I think that's kind of cool. If there is also a special model, thumbs up. Some of my favorite cool models from the past were named characters. So, yeah, why not? But anyway, let's get to this week's topic. So as I'm recording this, we are a very short amount of time away from the launch here in the States of 40K 8th edition. Right now there are people at my game store waiting to pick it up once the clock strikes 12:01. There's quite a lot of people actually. And it's the kind of thing where it's a big deal. 40K has always been a bigger game than the fantasy side. Ironically, strangely, if you look at like the role-playing game market, fantasy is 80% of the current market, and only 20% belongs to sci-fi and other genres. Whereas in miniatures, it's not the same thing. It's just 40K has always dominated in the non-historical scene. So, and I will say, the last time I played 40K was back in 4th edition, I think. Maybe 5th? Probably 4th. It was a long time ago. And I've got to say that this has rekindled some of my interest in it. There are two big problems I classically had with 40K, and that was, one, the rules had gotten too bloated and too complicated, and I didn't feel like learning them. I don't like large rule systems. I'm old and crotchety, and incredibly complex rule systems with high barriers of entry have very little interest to me anymore. Just personal taste, that's where it is. So they've done away with most of that. The rules fit in about 12-ish pages. Pretty good. We've moved most of the rules to the war scrolls, to the data slates, whatever, just like with AOS. So good choice there. Everything I've read, I've liked for the most part. I think the game has some good interactions and unique ideas. But that still leads me to the second big problem that I personally have classically had, which is I find absolutely zero of the factions completely interesting in 40K. There is a few things that I like. That is to say, like, there are maybe a few elements of a couple armies that I find interesting, but for the most part, I've always found the aesthetics of the forces underwhelming. This comes largely from hating Space Marines. When I played the first time I played Imperial Guard, Space Marines would constantly kick my teeth in. I've always hated Space Marines. I found them to be incredibly bland and flat and boring. Sorry. If you love them, this is only my personal opinion. Love what you love. I'm not making a judgment about them in total. I'm only saying how they appeal to me and me alone. And they just don't ring for me, and that's the problem, because like half the freaking armies are some kind of Space Marine, whether it's good guy Space Marines or bad guy Space Marines or somewhere in the middle Space Marines. They all just look like the same dudes to me. They're just for whatever reason, the Sisters of Battle are the only army that I've ever really loved. And of course, I'm not going to go out and buy an ancient army that's all in metal. We know how I feel about metal figs, but if, as I've said many times, if they come out with a plastic Sisters army, I'm there and totally in. So that leads me to this week's topic, which is, as we sit here on the eve of 40K, on 40K Eve, and there's this live stream going on as I'm recording this and all this sort of stuff, are you in? That's the question. Are you in? It's the only thing that matters for this week's topic. If you are, why? What are you looking forward to? If you're not, why not? What do you need to see? So there you go. Topic of the week, 40K, Warhammer 8th Edition. Are you in? That's easy. As always, throw your comments down below. Let me know what you think about it. I want to know what you're feeling. What are you going to do? Are you lined? Maybe you're not answering this right now because you're lined up at your game store. But I want to know. So, give me a shout down below, or, as always, make a response video. And hit me with the link, and I'll post that down in the description. And down there in that description, hey, it's last week's topic of the week as well. So you can always go back there and find any of the videos that were posted, okay? So, as always, look forward to the conversation and to the responses, and we'll see you next time.